Everyone, Karin Jurschick again. And Karin, you want to invite up our special guest?
Yes, I want to invite Ken Feinberg.
Ken Feinberg is right here.
And before we have some Q&A, I would like to thank all the protagonists that are here today. That is Diane Feinberg and his brother David. And I would like to get you all up. That is Camille Bayrosh, his co-worker, so important to him. Monica Eichen, Charles Wolf. Please get up. Get you deserve it. Marcia and Ken Peterson, who are fighting for the pensions. Dennis Coren is fighting for his pensions. And I hope, Deborah Steinberg, Deborah Brown Steinberg, this amazing lawyer with Anna Lewis, who are here today. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So I'll start with just a couple of questions for both of you, and then I'll open it up to the questions that I'm sure the audience is going to have. And this is really a question for both of you. It's Karin, sort of what motivated this project for you, and Ken, how did you agree to be part of this?
No, David. We saw just an interview with Ken Feinberg in another film, and my producer said, "Have a look. It seems to be a very, very, very eloquent and interesting man." And then I read his books, and I thought we don't know it in Germany. We don't know the kind of work that he's doing, and we don't know this. And he was thinking about all that. What it means to put a value on a life, and so we got interested and we just asked him. And while he was doing it, you must ask him.
I just thought that it would be a public service, really, to take the book and use it as a basis for a visual production of what we've done over the years on some of these tragedies and some of these big issues. And it was really Karin and the team that decided to make the film.
And you've been in other films as an expert, or you've been featured, but not one that's been expressly about you. And so were there any particular concerns or ground rules or anything that I would imagine there probably were, that you might have had about being part of this project?
Well, really, it was done in a way that didn't interfere very much with my work. Basically, when we were doing the BP oil spill fund, and they came in and they wanted to meet with Camille, and Camille was evaluating every single claim that came through the door, with about 4,300 people working for us. And the way that the film crew came into the office and sort of set up watching Camille do the work, and the way they followed me around in my automobile at my home, my wife, who's not usually very interested in being filmed, was very, they came into the kitchen, and she became very eloquent.
I think I like this scene a lot, and I thank your wife especially for that. Ken Feinberg was immensely open for us. We also feared that as a lawyer we would have to sign different things.
Right.
We just had a very simple formula, and when he said, "Yeah, it's okay, I sign it."
You mean contract?
A contract,
yes.
and I thought afterwards, I think it was so simple that he thought he could throw it away in a minute if he really wanted to. but yeah, he was immensely open to us, and we would have liked to have more access to the power players, let's say, like to look behind the scenes. We also asked BP, Volkswagen.
You see, there are two problems, major problems with all of these programs. The first problem is it is very, very emotional. Reason and objectivity sort of gets passed by. You're dealing with very, very emotional public and private dilemmas. And the second problem, I must say, whenever we take on one of these assignments, bad things happen to good people every day in this country. There's no 9/11 fund. I didn't see any 9/11 fund after Katrina. 1,000 people died after Katrina. Las Vegas, Boston Marathon, Virginia Tech. That's all private money. There's no 9/11 fund. And it calls, a movie like this, in part, calls into question whether it's sound public policy to create these funds, because, you know, people get injured and killed every day in this country, innocent. And it raises some very interesting philosophic questions about, in a society like ours, when should compensation, if ever, be provided, and when should it not? And these are difficult questions that I think permeate the film.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that I find striking is that you put yourself in a very public position. Obviously, you're the person meeting with these people. You are the face of these different funds and these different things that are going on. Does that make it harder or easier to do the work?
You have to do that. You see, on the one hand, if you don't reach out to the victims and put a human face and a humanity under the program will do more harm than good. Secondly, when you're the public face, thank goodness you've got Camille and others in the private part of this that are working every minute behind the scenes and processing the claims, and that makes it, of course, that's part of it. And when you've got a loving family, my brother and my wife, my children, that sort of helps a great deal.
Please, yes.
I just wanted to say, for us as a filmmaker, it was not easy, because Ken Feinberg is working, or was working, and is still working in so many different, so amazing cases. I think you're now busy with the Catholic Church, and we always were like running behind him because something new happened, and it is not easy to extract at least these 5 cases, because we wanted to show that he got a lot of critique and took the heat of that, and also got an immensely impact on other people's life, and we wanted to show this both sides and not to make it like under-complex, because I think your work is very complex.
Since this movie was filmed, you could add another film just focusing on the Boston Marathon and on Las Vegas and what happened a week or 2 ago in Texas. Unfortunately, in America, you don't run out of examples where these issues that are posed in the film are very, very real.
So, I'm going to turn it over to the audience, and just one last question for me, at least for now. With being the public face again, I'm going to go back to that just for a second. When you are confronted, as in the close to the end scene by the shrimper, I mean, how difficult is that for you? I mean, you must get criticism from lots of different people for lots of different times. So how do you detach yourself from that sort of emotionality of it to deal with the as you say, the constraints that you put on?
You don't really. I mean, it impacts you, of course. You don't like to be criticized. But you realize that it goes with the territory. As I said in the film, you're talking here about terrible loss, whether it's physical death and injury, or economic loss, like in the Gulf. I don't begrudge people if they come and complain and criticize. As I say, it's part of it.
I also think that...
Now, the director could have been a little bit more balanced. But
I think it was very balanced.
I'm sure you do.
You know, there's always this wish in the audience that you're either hero or the bad guy, the very bad lawyer from Washington. There's a type, let's say. But it didn't want that. I think there are both sides, and it's for me it's also kind of picture of America. There are people and classes and situations there, and you can't solve that all. You say you can't solve that kind of problems that people have,
No,
but they have it.
And one of the great aspects of this film, I thought, when you listen to Monica and you listen to Deborah, sort of wax a little bit philosophical about what they're trying to accomplish or the impact it's had on them, a tragedy like 9/11, I think it makes the film that much more effective and that much more beyond just a political science discussion of compensation. I thought that the excerpts in the film of Monica and Charles Wolfe and the people of DeBruce Nelson in the Gulf, I think that added immeasurably to the understanding of the dilemma that people confront after tragedy.